What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And today we have another Spelunker slash Neuroglancer proofreading guide tutorial thing. And today we're going to be talking about how to locate the soma of a cell when you've pretty much found everything else and still can't find the soma. So the soma tract is tough to find in these fly cells occasionally, so let's take a look at what we've done so far in order to locate it. Now, one thing you're going to want to do is look for branches kind of like this, where they're, if I'd say, medium to small thickness, and you're going to want to trace them out as much as you can. Now, we can go over where exactly you're going to want to trace this. Traces into a merger, which is fine. Looks like a small bouton there. That could be salvaged. But as you can see, I've gone to a few places. This is another medium small branch, so that was one that I checked. But this also did not lead me. This was promising. I thought it was going to be that, to be fair, but it was not. Traced out this. These are all small-ish branches. You would want to add these probably, but if you are going for ultimate speed, these are the types of branches you may skip over, though if you don't know where the soma is, these are branches that you're probably going to run into while you're looking for the soma. So we ruled out it was not those. We ruled out it was not this. Now why is most of my tracing here and here? So as a proofreader, you want to check every side of the cell because usually it's going in some direction and it's going to keep going until it either terminates or it turns into a branch. So these have all terminated, and I believe these had all terminated too. A little bit difficult to trace area here, which is why there's some big gaps. But these are kind of thin, and you want, like I said, the medium-sized, medium to smaller, but usually medium branch. Now we couldn't find it on either side, so that kind of leaves this middle area. And one thing you're going to notice once you've done a lot of cells, or when you see a lot of cells that have somas, like say we click this, I don't know if this one has a soma, but we could pull it up to check. So this is a soma down here. So this is another sort of pull up a cell nearby, see if it looks similar to the cell you have. Let's see if we can find a dissimilar cell actually. This is not that much of a similar cell. These examples aren't really working. So here we go. So here there's soma over there. As you can see, this soma comes out of the middle of this bend. So it's not coming out of the tips, which would be like here and here on that orange one. And similar for this purple one, the soma is not coming out of these little kind of feet over there, and they're not coming out of these arms. It's coming out of this middle area. So we can kind of tell from the cells around that it's probably going to be coming out of that middle area. So if you have the prior knowledge of the middle area, you might say, when I look at this, that it's probably in here somewhere. So obviously I have an annotation point. I know where it is. There's this kind of large branch here, and then we have this piece coming out here. So this is something I would look at, but once I looked at it, I could not find anything. Now this piece turns into a bouton, and the soma tract usually doesn't have any boutons on it. So you could, if you're tracing and you hit a bouton, you're probably not going to hit that soma tract. So we have a couple of little branches here, but those are a little bit too little. This one I thought was pretty good, obviously. That's why I investigated it. But that kind of only leaves this branch, but it has this little thing onto it, which made me not really want to check it in the beginning. But once you do check, I believe it's one of these two here. Yeah. So we just gotta make sure that we're tracing the correct branch here because there is a jump. So as we could follow this. We'll turn that off for now. If we follow this up 2 slides, it pretty much continuously goes to that. So we're pretty sure that it's this. And this is starting to look kind of like that cell we brought up earlier, right? So now we have off of this, it's coming out of the middle. We have a nice thin, medium-sized Soma branch. Now, you might not get so lucky. Maybe the half of this is cut off and you're going to have to trace piece by piece going this way through a couple of mergers, which can be difficult. But if you don't have any indication of where the Soma is, this would obviously be really great to find. So one thing you're going to want to do is to make sure that this branch is also the correct branch. And as we trace, it's beginning to look like this purple is a merger. And as you can see, there is another Soma tract missing. So not only did we find our Soma tract when we were looking for our Soma tract, we found this purple one. So why did we investigate this area and find that it was a merger? Well, because these cells don't typically overlap with themselves like this, but they do overlap with similar cells like this. And because if we get rid of this, this pretty much has all the pieces of the cell, right? It's got these boutons, it's got axonal bits and fly. The axon and the dendrites can kind of smush together, especially in these smaller cells. But we have more activation over here in this area. And let's change the colors here. Get rid of that. This jump, and because there's a jump, that also tells me that it's likely that there will be errors over here. So by checking our Soma tract and knowing that our Soma tract was good, and when I see this little triangle piece, and we know that things don't usually come off the Soma tract, so it's a little suspicious, but it is early on in the Soma tract. So we check here, and we can kind of see this branch is not exactly connecting to this. Like this is its own thing, and that's its own thing. And as we inspect it, it's pretty obvious from the look of it that this large branch jumps up over here, and that is pretty good connection. Our Soma tract is thinner, I should say, than this. And as you can see, it is a merger, 2 ERs right next to each other of different, contained in different membranes. And this jump's a little tricky, but it's not that bad. All right. Yeah, just double checking there. And let's see if we can find the Soma again. There we go. So it looks like this blue piece is part of this connection here, but it's likely only that and not this extra bit, which probably connects here or there or down there somewhere. So that is a smaller branch. We probably wouldn't need to connect it, but we would want to fix this because having a cell going to the incorrect Soma is obviously no good. So I hope that this little tutorial helped you sort of generally figure out where you're going to want to look for the Soma. And as you can see, as I was looking for the Soma, I found some extra branches, which are good to add, especially if they're of a decent size. And if you are struggling in an area, try to click around on some other cells to get some information, see, well, where are the other Somas going? Because when we click on this, if you click over by the Soma, you can see all the Somas are over here. So if you scroll out, they kind of congregate. So that's going to help sort of paint a picture of in which direction is the Soma probably going to be. And like we said before, if you have knowledge of the brain mesh, this can help you, locate your Soma. See, it's going over towards the edge. So the Soma probably wouldn't be, that way or that way. It's probably going to be over here, over here, over there. Maybe over here, but this is the closest to the edge here. And the way this curves, it kind of looks like it goes that way. And I say looks like because I've traced a lot of cells, but once you trace a lot of cells, you're also going to get the look, and you're going to be like, okay, this looks like it's going to be somewhere in the middle, and it's probably going to be going in that direction. But that can still take time. So do your best, and I know you'll find those somas. Hope this guide was helpful, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy.